you're trying to slow things down, not kind of mainline a bunch of espressos.
But I like mainlining a bunch of espressos, Jane. That's what I live for. Well, there it is.
Hello and welcome to Never Have I Ever. On this show, I am going to learn how to free dive.
So part of the reason why I asked for a RAV4 was mainly because I feel like the way I drive in the GT Yaris is not amenable to Jane having a nice time in the car. So this is the... I mean, the Yaris is super fun, like if you're on your own, but you know, you want something, you know, you're going away with friends, it's a bit more kind of like comfortable, and it's pretty...
I'm accustomed to the finer things.
This is true.
Jane likes to be comfortable.
Jane does like to be comfortable.
Now there's definitely going to be some badass treasure and or chest in this place that we should teep.
The end of the country. The end of land itself.
How do you feel, Douglas, about tomorrow's freediving?
Good?
Yeah?
Yeah.
What made you want to do freediving?
Because you said you want to go freediving.
Like, how do you think you'll do at freediving?
I have no idea. I have no idea. You're like the fitness guy, Julia, so...
Everything's quite video gamey here. Like,
Yeah.
I feel quite witchery walking around.
Your brain that's video gaming, and you're just seeing everything through the augmented reality like filter of Julia Vision.
No, I'm really excited. I think the reason why I wanted to free dive, like I've done scuba and stuff like that. I've always been someone who loves being under the water rather than on top of the water. My dad used to take us all to like the bottom of the pool all the time, which was kind of fun. I don't know why I like that. I just find like being under the water, I feel really calm and at peace, and even when I'm swimming and I'm running out of breath, it's still not that bad. I don't know why. It sort of feels quite kind of majestic. I'm probably like completely romanticizing this and it's going to be terrifying. I don't know, but you don't know unless you try it. So it's the only way you can ever find anything out. You can't read things on the internet. Like, you can read stuff, but like nothing will ever replace having the experience of doing something. And for good or bad, here's the way I look at it, right? It could be the best experience of your life and you're like, oh my god, I'm so glad I did that thing. Or it's terrible and you don't have a nice time, but you have a great anecdote that you dine out on and you sound really interesting and cool. That's Julia's life philosophy, basically. Do something, fuck it up, and then get a good anecdote. Don't go in there, Jane. It's the start of a fucking horror film! Welcome to Men Al Tol, also known as the wind's vagina. How many times to save a changeling do you have to pass your baby through the hole?
Put your baby through the hole once if it's been turned into a changeling by evil piskies.
Okay, and then if you want to get rid of...
7 times backwards if you want to get pregnant.
7 times backwards for pregnancy?
Backwards.
Okay.
Important. Don't you dare go forwards.
What does that mean?
9 times.
Does that change? Get rid of your children?
9 times if you've got rickets. That's the rule.
I mean, how many times are you going to go through? What's your main...
Try for like 5 or 6 and see what happens.
Does that sort of like half pregnant, half rickets?
No, it's like a lucky dip, you know.
Ah, okay.
Maybe it'll wipe my teeth or something.
Once, forwards or backwards?
Dealer's choice.
Quite graceful.
Oh, it's like being reborn.
Ah, put my foot in some shit.
It's okay, that's birth for you, Julia. Messy.
Messy.
Yep. You've done it.
I'm quite moist.
Yep, that's birth.
So I'm no longer any...
Hooray!
Changing baby!
Hooray!
Come on, Jane.
Come on.
Make it work. Okay, wait.
Ta-da!
Changed. Do you feel changed?
New woman.
Do you? Is it like rebirth? Did you get shit all over your shoes? Because I did.
I think I'm alright, although they were white at one point.
The only thing you can hear are like insects that sound like tiny drones. But you know when a place is so quiet that it's almost like the no sound is a sound. It's so quiet that I think I've been in London too long. It creeps me out when things are really quiet. Jane, it's fine. Jane's changed. Jane, what are you now?
Well, now I'm fully at peace.
Yes, are you?
Yeah, I'm a changed woman.
Are you? What's your first port of call now that you're a changed woman?
I'm going to kill and eat you, and then I'm going to return to civilization and tell everyone that Julia went missing in Cornwall.
See, I knew this was going to turn into a horror film. I mean, if you're going to meditate, it's quite quiet. What? Oh my god, you're such a dick! Hiking to the dive centre right now. Yeah, I don't know why I chose this point to film this, because we're slightly out of breath from climbing that.
Well, that's going to be the theme of the day, isn't it? Being
Actually, that's a really good point. I think like some of the literature last night, and it's not so much of it is just about like meditation and like ignoring the fact that you want to breathe. This was sort of the rough gist I got out of it.
Yeah, the idea that if your body is fully relaxed and your mind is focused, then you can hold your breath for a lot longer than you think you can.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. That's an interesting idea, because you definitely have a sort of mental concept of like, I can definitely hold my breath for like 30 seconds or 1 minute. And obviously these freedivers hold it for many times that.
Just needs to be nice purged air. You want to give yourself the best opportunity to take a nice full tank. Fill tank 1, your belly. Tank 2, your chest, intercostals. And then tank 3. Again, don't make it too uncomfortable. Whilst you're out on dry land as well, it's a little bit less comfortable than when you're in the pool. When you're in the pool, you've got that just, you know, slight bit of, when you turn over, there is a bit of water, so you get a small bit of compression. When you dive, you get instant compression. So your big full tank is obviously automatically being compressed because of the Boyle's law, which we'll go through, and then it's more comfortable. And as you get down to the bottom of the exhale, just for half a second, just hold it there, just for half a second. As you start to feel tension arising, and recovery breathe. Open that mouth, come on.
The whole notion of freediving is just, yeah, it's like we were saying this morning, it's all about kind of relaxation, and basically what you're telling your body to do is to ignore the signals that you need to breathe, because actually you don't need to breathe yet. And like a lot of the signals come from just, you know, having too much kind of like CO2, and so your body's like, you should probably breathe, but actually there's like, you can sort of push past that point, and then train yourself to to be able to kind of hold your breath for longer. But yeah, it's quite mad. So today we're doing the theory, like we've just done the theory just now, and then we'll be in the pool this afternoon to practice static apnea, which is just like being really still, holding your breath. And then tomorrow we'll be at sea.
It was interesting. It was like being at school doing like a A-level biology lesson or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe a little more advanced than that, but interesting stuff.
How do you feel about this afternoon?
Oh yeah, good. I love mucking around in a pool.
Yeah.
It's like a 4 metre deep pool or something like that. So get in there, touch the bomb, that kind of thing.
So the wetsuits are quite fragile. So you basically have to put them on in the water, but only after you administer the lubrication, apparently.
Sandwich together.
Okay, so it's medium claustrophobic. I mean, I've worn some skinny jeans in my time, but this is a lot. I'm exhausted.
Fill tank 1, nice big breath. Fill tank 2, tank 3. Big gulp of air down. When you're ready, pop your hand up. Good, nice and relaxed. Just bring the hands up. Try and do the sequence. So relax the shoulders now. Bring the legs down. Just relax the shoulders. Try and relax the neck. Try and change your thinking. Try and think of walking down the beach. Feel the sand between your toes. We're almost at 1 minute 30, so doing very, very well. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
You can do it!
Two,
You can do it, you can do it!
2, 1.
Oh! Yeah!
If you feel relaxed, relax your shoulders. Just relax into it. Really well done.
Wow.
Well done.
Breathe.
Recovery breathe. Recovery breathe. Proper recovery rest. Well done. To be fair, your lips are still red.
Well done! Jane! Woo! Jane!
So today we are going out in the boat all day. So we're actually going to do some line diving. So basically going down a buoy with like a line and then some kind of duck. We might see some seals, maybe not. I don't know. We're just gonna enjoy it and try and get as deep as is safely possible. How are you feeling?
Good. Ask me again in 2 hours.
Ready, Jane? I think who knows? Jane, baby, this is the end of the holiday. We're driving back now. Oh my god.
Only just got relaxed.
No, honestly, I swear to God, with everything we do, it takes like 2 weeks just to stop worrying about things.
Also, those last few days were quite intense, so I kind of needed a secondary holiday to
Yeah.
recover from this one.
I mean, we were kind of stuck by the dates that we had to pick, really, in terms of doing the free diving. So, I mean, I don't know what...
Everything kind of wound up to a very intense bunch of free diving.
The crescendo really you know, went up like towards the end.
Yeah, no regrets.
So we didn't get a chance to actually shoot a lot of the free diving stuff
because we were focused on staying alive and
oh my god, they were very specific because it's quite
not being sick in the ocean.
There was also that. Basically, like while we were doing the free diving, they were very
professional,
and they were like,
proper.
you can't be filming
Please
things.
don't film while we're trying to teach you how to free dive
and hold your breath
which
underwater.
is totally fair.
So, you know, I got a lot of stuff on the boat.
Yeah.
We then got in the ocean, which was beautiful and really clear, but very choppy.
It was gorgeous, and there were little jellies
everywhere.
Adorable little jellies.
The only small problem was that, so you're basically learning with something like free diving. It's all mental. It's actually got, I mean, it has to do with technique and skill and like finning and stuff, but actually that's kind of not really what it's about. You basically have to meditatively tell yourself that you don't need to breathe, which is quite difficult.
It's meditation in hard mode.
Yes!
Upside down, underwater, while holding your breath. And it was
the most extreme meditation I think I've ever done. It's like being on the top of a mountain while someone's trying to set fire to your legs and they're like, it's cool man, don't worry about the fire. The fire's not going to burn you. You're like, it's pretty hot though.
I think it's like good transferable life skills. Like if you can calm your mind and tune out the world while you're upside down underwater holding your breath, then you can pretty much do it anywhere.
I really struggled with quieting the mind, as I'm sure most people are not super surprised about. I find that incredibly difficult.
Julia is incredibly fit, right? You would agree.
Okay, sure.
Julia is very fit, and you can quote me on that. And so I assumed that Julia's innate level of extreme conditioning would absolutely serve you, and it does to a point. But then also you have so much energy and so much going on in your mind at any one time.
Yes.
That actually it's quite a challenge.
It was such a challenge. I found it really, really, really hard. But also I think like if we were having this discussion when we came back yesterday, I think if we had gone to do our open water training on a very flat location, we could have really focused a bit more on technique, because that's what we really needed to practice, the not getting in our heads and the technique of going down the line. But because it was so choppy, like when you came up, we were just like bobbing up. There was no center point, there was no like horizon. You got in the water and slightly freaked out. I was initially fine, then lost it and was like being sick everywhere. And then I was doing a dive. I was sick a bit for seasickness, and then I did another dive and then came up and was like sick again. I was like, oh man.
The irony is it's a lot calmer underwater.
Yeah, it was actually really nice underwater.
It's very nice.
Doing the dive.
Visibility was
great.
Actually pretty good. You could see the bottom of the line.
Yeah.
Considering we weren't doing like ultra deep dives, you could see the tennis ball, you could see the plate, pretty much.
Yeah.
Julie said we're not ocean people.
I
We're city people.
We're like London landlubbers.
Yeah, we're soft Londoners, and the salt water isn't in our veins. It turns out.
No. Also, this was another really good point that you made yesterday, which was we basically went from like being at home in lockdown with like not really swimming, not really being in the sea, not really doing anything.
I haven't touched the ocean for like 2 years. I have a snorkel, and it has been like untouched for 2 years. Well, clearly more than 2 years. So just because you went snorkeling once doesn't mean you are at one with the brine.
And like everyone we were kind of doing it with were like clearly quite seafaring people. Like we had that, you know, the dad and the son who clearly, they looked like someone who might have a yacht. They looked quite affluent.
They were spear fishing.
Yeah, they wanted to be spearos, which is like the
culture of spearos,
right?
And freediving.
We've learned so much.
World.
So freedivers are really Zen, like Buddhist. It's all about the mind. And spear fishermen use freediving skills, but are like, let's just get down and stab things. It's like the pro version.
Well, I think to be fair, like I think our instructor, or maybe both instructors, also do spearfishing, and I think there's a culture of like sustainable ocean foraging.
That's not what dad and son were.
Well, I'm sure there are different approaches to spearfishing, but I think there are different approaches.
It's like the frat boys of the ocean. The training was incredible, and we actually, when we went out into the ocean, we had this chap, Sean, right, who was the most calming influence. We were all, both of us were freaking out for slightly different reasons. He was like, that was great, you did so well, you went down the line, you're making gains, it's amazing, well done.
We laid down in the harbour, on the harbour wall, and did a guided meditation, and it was one of the greatest guided meditations I've ever done, and it was in a wetsuit, baking under the like mid-morning sun.
It's very odd. There were like people walking past, they must have been like, why are all these people dead?
I enjoyed the whole thing. It was really intense, really challenging, which is exactly what we signed up for. I got my 2-minute breath hold,
which is
amazing.
I
was convinced I could hold my breath for about 30 seconds. And I got 2 minutes 9 seconds, which I want like a little swim badge, you know. When
I feel like you
needed swim badge. I feel like I want my 2-minute swim badge.
See, I didn't even get that, and I think like I'm so in my head, I can't shut my mind up, and basically the static breath holds, you're lying there and there's nothing else to look at, and my brain doesn't shut up.
My brain is just like,
and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, be quiet, you don't need oxygen. It's like, yes you do. I'm like, be quiet, brain. And so I didn't even get my 2 minutes. I have done it in the bath before, but that's a totally different environment to doing it. So I know that I can do it, but just my brain was just having none of it. We did go in kind of blind. We'd seen the Grand Bleu by Luc Besson.
It said beginner's course.
I mean,
and we are beginners.
It did, but
there are different degrees of beginner, it turns out.
Yes.
But no regrets. It was, I'm really glad we did it. I thought it might have more to do with like cardiovascular fitness. Like your lung capacity is greater if you do a lot of exercise. I saw Julia's form. It was very good, actually. You did the chin tuck.
Yep.
You did the finning.
So you're not supposed to look down. This is the key thing. You look at the rope.
You look at the rope. You look horizontally. So you are literally upside down, looking horizontally back at the rope or back at your, instructor or whatever. And you were doing that, and you were finning, and I'm sure you did like at least 5 meters.
Yeah. No, I think I did.
Over 5 meters probably. I did 5, just. so I'm taking that home with me.
If you saw, wow, look, you'll see a little bit from the video how choppy it was, but it's not the same as like being in the ocean.
You know,
It
you're
was
going to
like,
watch that footage back and it's going to look really calm.
I know.
And it's absolutely not going to sell the sensation.
I think the only thing I can liken it to, it was so choppy, I honestly felt like I was like in a tumble dryer.
Wow.
You know, you'd just be like bonked around, and you're like, I don't know which way's up. I'm going sideways. Being under the water isn't great. Being on top of the water isn't great. In between being on the water isn't great. There's no really great point, apart from when I was holding onto the float about to do the dive, and then I felt really calm.
I didn't get seasick, which is good, because I had a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel nauseous until you and our
Rio
fellow
got
trainer,
sick. Rio got sick. She's like, I'm going to be sick, and then I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt a bit, and also you're taking really like deep breaths, so you know you're going to burp more, and burps sometimes make you feel like you're going to be a bit sick.
Wow, I did not get that.
Did you not?
Really?
Like when you take a deep breath, it's like too much air, and then sometimes you have to burp out.
Oh, okay, maybe I was.
You haven't hung out with Aoife enough. I was feeling a little bit nauseous,
Yeah.
and then she was like, I'm going to be sick, and
Oh,
then I was like, well, now am I? I'm just totally going to be
now
sick.
you're bound
as well.
together in your seasickness.
Bombing. And she's, you know, she's from around here, you know, she's in the sea all the time, and she was struggling
Yeah,
with
she's a surfer, a swimmer, and
like, yeah.
I think we would make great progress if we tried that for a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time, and I think it would be like really wildly naive to assume that you're going to nail freediving
on the first go.
on literally the first time you go into the ocean.
Really different experience when you attempt to do things that are new. Like, it's really easy to do the same thing like over and over again, and it's kind of nice and comfy, and like I was saying to you before, it's the sort of thing that, like, moving forward, there's going to be so many kind of positive things from this. Like, anytime you're kind of like, you know, in the water or like doing anything like that, you can always like draw on like these skills and stuff, and because you know you've tested yourself in some way, you trust yourself more. And like you were saying about like having the ability to say to yourself in your head, that having the evidence to back that up is sort of the key to having like a stronger mind, right?
Yeah.
But if at the moment we had nothing to back it up, we're like, well, we don't know. You're telling us that we're not going to drown, but are we? I feel like I've learned so much, like first of all about myself and like what the hell is going on up here, and second of all about something I had a lot of misconceptions about, and I have like ultimately crazy respect for it, because Jesus, that it takes some real doing. Oh my god.
I can't believe how chill our instructors were.
So chill. Well, on the road we go. Take you home. Maybe feel like we'll get McDonald's on the way back. I don't know. What do you want?
No, I'm dedicating my life to freediving now.
Okay.
No more McDonald's, no more caffeine.
No more caffeine.
No more caffeine, no more dairy. Gonna mess with my equalisation.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna like abandon my old life and fully invest in freediving.
follow the sea.
I'm gonna be so calm, so focused. Yeah, I'll even give up coffee. That was hard for you. That was one of the hardest points.
giving up coffee.
Julia.
We had like the lesson in the morning. I was literally like, what?
Our instructor was saying that the caffeine like increases your heart rate, which is going to increase your like oxygen usage.
Yeah.
You're trying to slow things down, not kind of mainline a bunch of espressos.
Well, I like mainlining a bunch of espressos, Jane. That's
Well,
what I
there's
live
your problem.
for. Well, there is my
Your oxygen usage is like up here. Inoli was like, thoughts use oxygen as well, and that's why you have to.
I
kind of
can't
calm
not
your
think.
mind.
Have you been in my brain? My
there we
God,
go.
it's running 12 conversations at once.
Okay.
It was like opening up disk utility on your Mac and then being like, would you like to defrag?
Defrag
Like,
immediately.
I need to defrag, Jane. It's been amazing. I've had an amazing week.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
Kind of blew out the cobwebs a bit, hey?
Yeah, well, it started nice and chill. We were at Fishwick Bay and we did some light surfing and
then we
had
got
a massage.
pushed to our mental brink.
Well, thank you to Freedive UK.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
They were great. They were very
patient
with us and very cool.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Yeah.
Oh well, what are we doing next?
No idea.
Holiday from
Oh, like
holiday?
I told you, I'm going to dedicate my life to freediving. I found it.
Bye.
I found my.
Shall we drop you off by the ocean?
Yeah,
Jane?
yeah.
I'll
Just
let
let
you
you.
be
Well, I
free.
need a buddy though, so you're going to have to come with me.
Okay,
You're
right.
going to have to do it with me.